Good morning, everyone. Alrighty, how's everybody doing? Good. All right. First of all, I'd like to thank Social Media Breakfast for letting me come and speak. Hopefully, I'll add a new perspective to social media for you guys. I work at PerBlue. I'm the community manager. Today I'll be talking about building socially integrated products. More about what I mean by that in a second. But first, a little bit about me and a little bit about PerBlue. So I'm the community manager. I manage all the communities, obviously, inside and outside of the game. So we have a lot of internal communities, a lot of external communities, a lot of social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, some forums, and the like. So I do that, and PerBlue. So what PerBlue is a mobile game development company. We have a few titles that we run that are pretty. Yeah, I have the clicker. So we have a few titles that are big and popular right now. Parallel Kingdoms is actually what kind of started the whole company about 5 years ago. It was actually pretty impressive for mobile games for a game to be around for that long. It was founded by a couple of University of Wisconsin graduates, and was actually a school project, and then they grew up, and it's now a company that supports 25, 30 people, and growing every day. We've added I think 4 people in the last month, which is pretty exciting. Right now, our 2 main games are Greed for Glory and Titan Empires. They're both city builder strategy games. I don't know, does anyone play mobile games here? Andrew Foxwell, because he has to, because he works with me. Well, I mean, I guess that's good, because it'll definitely be a fresh perspective than what I have to say to you today. Hopefully, you'll get something from it. But basically, Greed for Glory, Titan Empires are both city builder games. Clash of Clans is a big name. If you recognize that name, it's super similar to that. Basically, it's free to download, but there's micro purchases within the game, and we encourage people to buy those to support. And it helps them speed up the game, helps them progress. But that's the basic concept. Because it is free to play, we're super dependent on retention of current customers, because we need them to get invested and eventually want to spend money on the game. And one of the tactics that we use to get people to retain customers and get them attached to the product is social media and integrating with communities that way. So what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about what I mean by socially integrated products. It's just a term I made up. We could talk about how to tie social media to your product more tightly, whatever you want. But what that means, what I mean by that, the purpose and benefits of doing that, parts of a socially integrated product. So, what goes into those things. And then I'm going to try and break it down. I have Titan Empires as a great example, but I'm going to try and take it outside of the mobile gaming industry and relate it to some other industries as well for you. So, what do I mean by a socially integrated product? So you got your widget factory, whatever your company is, and you make your product, you make your service, whatever it is, and then you have your social media accounts, all of your communities that you do to support this. And integrating it, making a socially integrated product is making a product that social media is part of the experience, and pulling that in more tightly. I think a lot of times it's common practice to have your social media accounts and then your product. And if you're able to take them and make social media part of the product experience, it's going to increase exposure to your supporting communities and increase the value of your product in your consumers' eyes. So kind of went over the benefits, purpose and benefits there again. But again, the purpose of socially integrating a product is to make participation in, or remove the barriers to participation in your community. Make them as valuable as possible and make them as easy to participate in as possible. And when you make participation part of the product, it becomes that customer identifies that participation in those communities as part of the product, and it's added value to that product. Benefits, it's going to be exactly what your benefits would be for your social media accounts: customer satisfaction, customer involvement, retention, brand advocates, user-created content. But it's just going to be more amplified. So the whole idea with this is to make a stronger tie between your social media accounts and your external communities and your product. So if you're able to get a hold of more people, get them into the product and into your accounts, then the whole goal is just to amplify the effects of your supporting communities. So parts of a social media, socially integrated product, you have internal communities, so that they're built within and tightly integrated into the core service. So these, I'll go through a couple examples in a second here, but this could be anything on your website or within your product that is community driven. So it could be a chat room or reviews or comments or anything like that. So within your product experience and community related. And then you have your external communities. So that's more typically what we think social media, Facebook, Twitter, everybody knows that. It's made outside, you have less control over it, but it's made to support your core product offering. So with internal communities, your goal is to get people to attach to a product by engaging with that community. So these are going to be mostly current customers. The focus is not user acquisition, it's sustaining your current user base and getting them to engage more and more. It should be part of the product experience. It should be seamless. It should make sense to the community, and it should add value for them. Make it easy to engage, and the customer again identifies the community as part of the product, adding further value for them. So some examples in Titan Empires. Again, the reason that we're so focused at PerBlue on creating an integrated product is for that retention. And if people are able to attach to the product and see this community as part of the product, they're more likely to stay around, spend money. So this is the chat. On the left here is anybody can go in. When they're playing the game, they can talk to their fellow teammates or fellow players and strategize. We have a bunch of different versions of chat. There's global chat, so anybody can talk there. There's Empire chat, so empires are a group of friends, a group of people that you join, and you can go to war against other empires and team up. So within this group, it's even tighter, and engagement is even stronger because it's a group of 50 or so people that you can communicate with on a regular basis. VIP chat's another option, and that's for paying players. So again, it's a great way for us to see what paying players are thinking, and for paying players to engage with each other. Funny story. So actually, we have 2 employees right now that met through the game and are actually engaged now. So it's incredible what community engagement can do. And there's people that come into this game, and play it, but then their real value is the community that they find. And people are getting married. Like, that's so weird. It's a stupid little mobile app, and people are getting married because of it. And there's people that just, they come in, they play the game, but they really just sit and chat all day long. And those are potentially valuable customers to us. And the product is different for every person, but if we're able to capture that group that finds that community valuable, then that's even better. So that's kind of internal communities, not necessarily applicable to all industries, all products. Obviously, it's difficult to do. But then there's external communities. So like I said, more, normal, what you expect social media to be. But the key here is to make sure to tie those external accounts to your product and make it a seamless integration there. So just more examples. Titan Empires is probably the game that I spend the most time on right now. It's our newest release. About 4 or 5 months ago, we did the full release. We have over 2 million downloads. It's a pretty significant game. So we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we've got on the bottom there is our forums. So it's a great place for player-to-player interaction. They can strategize with each other, talk more in depth about what they think of the game, new updates, things like that. It's a good insight for us to see player sentiment, but also just a place for them to talk back and forth to each other. There's the wiki, which is a resource for players for, it's got a bunch of details about the game and how to better play it. And we've got our Facebook page as well. That's probably what I spend most of my time on is creating content for the Facebook and engaging players there. The important part about, and I'm not going to go into great detail about content because I feel like everybody's read everything about content, and a lot of people talk about how to make effective content. I don't think I have a unique story there, but I would say that the thing that we try to keep in mind is that each one of these platforms has a specific purpose, and always keep that goal in mind when making that content and forming it. For Facebook, for us, it's about engaging a current player base. All of our posts are for more mature players, and that's the audience that we reach. We also use it for user acquisition, but that's kind of a different story. So yeah, main point: make sure that each platform has a specific goal, and you meet those goals. So the big part of tying in, or the big part of what I'm talking about today is tying in those external communities. You should be able to motivate your customers or potential customers to go from your product to these external communities. And it should be seamless, and there should be strong calls to action. It should be well placed within your product experience. That way players view your social media accounts not as the separate entity, but just an extension of your product, and it creates value there. So we have our external communities at Titan Empires, and we also have these mechanisms in place to take people from within the game out of the game and explore new parts of this kind of this ecosystem that we've created with Titan Empires. So this is a good example. This is another thing that I spend a lot of time on, and it's our latest news. So a player will get this once a day, this pop-up once a day when they log in. And it's going to have anything going on in the game, any updates. We run a bunch of contests, different promotions, anything. A lot of times it'll just be a link to an interesting article or something that's relevant to them. But the whole idea is to get them to explore different parts of what we've created. So it'll go to Facebook, it'll go to the wiki, it'll go to the forums, but get them to engage, get them more attached to what we've created, and if you put these things in place, you want people looking at them, so you want to make it easy and incentivize them to look at those things. Another great way that we tie in external communities is Facebook Connect. So it's just like an integrated social login, but once you create your account, you're able to connect it to Facebook. It gives benefits to the player, but that's not really important. It's all about us. So what it does for us is it gives us access to their Facebook details so we can better market to them, better tailor the product to them. In the future, we can retarget them. And it also allows them to share with current non-players that are their Facebook friends. They can invite them to the game. So it's a great way to get organic spreading of the product by incentivizing it. So we incentivize this pretty heavily, actually. So to connect, we have an in-game currency called diamonds, and it's what you buy. So we give you free diamonds if you connect. We give you free diamonds if you like the page, the Facebook page, and we give you free diamonds if you send an invite to another player. So it's huge. I mean, it's a great way for players to gain a benefit from the product, but it's also a great way for us to pull in new users and get more valuable data from our current users. And in this whole process, they explore Facebook, and they get familiar with Facebook, and hopefully find value in it and come back. So that's kind of Titan Empires in a bundle. I've got a few more examples, a little bit less detail, because I don't know as much about them, but I thought I would try to take it out of mobile gaming, because I know that's not super relevant to most people. But I think the reason I did do that is because we are so dependent on these communities. I think we do offer a unique perspective. So my favorite example other than Titan Empires is diamond candles. Who's familiar with diamond candles? Concept of diamond candles. All right, we got one. Okay, so so diamond candles are this crazy product. They're overpriced candles, basically, that have most of the time, very cheap ring inside them. And so you burn down this candle, and a little ways down there's this ring that you pull out, and you can share it. And I'm not the demographic, obviously, but it's crazy how many people are the demographic and how quickly it's spread. And it's just a candle. And I think I wanted to make this clear too. Like, this is just a candle. There's a ton of other candles out there, but they figured out a way to leverage and integrate their social media into their strategy, and it drives their whole business now. So their strategy basically is to get people to share their rings. They've got hashtag diamond candles on Instagram in the top right. I think it says 42,000 posts. So they basically own that, that hashtag. No one else posts in there except for diamond candles. Well, and people who, find those diamond candles. So, if you're thinking about going and getting a diamond candle, first you're going to go to Instagram and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, look at this cool diamond. And really, it's just like a $1 ring, but or less. So they do. I should say this. They do bait you with. You can get up to a $5,000 ring. So there are legitimate rings in some of these, but they're rare. So, and then they've got their Facebook, which is the same thing. There's a ton of posts from people who have gotten rings, and they are, they're attractive rings. They're cheap rings, but they're attractive rings. They look good. They've got over 1 million likes on their Facebook, and this is a new product. I think they've just started growing in the past year, so it's exploded. And then on the left here, so this is just a random tidbit. Another great thing I like about the product is the fact that, so there's the gold circle like an inch down from the top. That's where the ring is. So they make it so you only burn like an inch of the candle, and then you get your ring, and then you're like, I don't want this candle, and then you go buy another one. So it's good. So they're good with their external communities, but they're also good with tying in their external communities to their product. This is on their website. It's just an Instagram feed, basically, of hashtag diamond candles. It's prominently placed. It's the second tab on the top. I was able to find it super easily. And everyone who's going to buy one of these or is interested in buying one of these is going to go here. So I knew about this thing, but and I had planned on using this example, but I thought I'd look into diamond candles a little bit more before coming here, and I happened upon their newest campaign, which is even smarter and crazier and more integrated than this one. So now they have diamond candles. So they have new candles that are more expensive, and they come with a diamond in them, just like normal, like not any fancier diamond, but they also come with a little piece of paper embedded into the diamond, or embedded into the candle. And when you burn through your candle and you get your little piece of paper, you go online and you enter in a code on that candle. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Okay, all right. And so you enter that code, and when you enter that code, your webcam turns on, and it records your reaction while this slot machine goes around. And there's a potential for you to win a $5,000 ring, or $1,000, or $100, or a $0 ring. No ring at all. But, and then once you do that, your video is automatically uploaded to their website. And of your reaction to whatever, you thought if you got a $5,000 ring, your excited reaction, or if you got no ring, your disappointment. But, and then at the end, there's obviously a prompt to share on Facebook and share on Vine, or whatever your favorite sharing platform is. So that's awesome, like organic reach that they get. And then they have this repository of videos on their website, and obviously the only videos that are popular that go towards the top are all the $5,000 wins. So I don't like diamond candles, but I spent 30 minutes yesterday watching people like flip out because they just want a $5,000 candle, and the chances of winning a $5,000 candle are 1 in 5,000. So it happens, but it doesn't happen, So, but none of those disappointments, those all get pushed to the bottom because they're just not popular. Awesome integration. And then, so they got step 1, find your thing, reveal your code. Step 2, Film yourself, step 3, and step 4 isn't even required, but they make it required, and it's to share. You know, that's part of the experience, is to share your experience. It's not required, but they make it seem required, and that's huge. Okay, so I'm off my diamond candle rant now. So I think both of those implementations are somewhat in-depth, somewhat difficult to do, but cool perspectives to think about and get you thinking about, you know, what's unique about your product, what can you leverage, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that hard. There's some other examples that, you know, are relatively simple integrations that people have done that have worked well for them. For example, Sanchez Bistro, it's just, I don't know where the restaurant is, but you can tweet a reservation. So it's a restaurant, they don't really have any reason to be in social media, but you can tweet a reservation, they have a hashtag, they have a Twitter account, so you mention them on Twitter with their, whatever their hashtag is, and you can reserve a time. So it's not a huge thing, but every person that follows you sees that tweet about the restaurant, that hashtag can become popular, trending. So you know, it's a small thing, but it's a unique thing, and they were able to figure out what's unique about my product and leverage it that way. Kipton Hotels and Restaurants. So their thing is bringing social media into the real world. So they have 3 what they call social media listeners. Just I don't know. They coined that term, but it's 3 people that sit on Twitter all day, and they look for mentions of Kipton Hotel, relevant hashtags, people staying at their hotels who are running into issues or have a special review or a birthday or something like that, and they'll go the extra mile and do something for that person. So it's kind of cool. They had, somebody mentioned that they had a birthday, so their head chef built them this huge cake. And it was just, you know, it's good publicity. Obviously, they tweeted about it a lot on their own account, but they also got this other person to enjoy, you know, this unique experience and share it with their friends. Another one, this one's a little bit more difficult to implement, but another unique thing, because I think I've been talking a lot about B2C, business to customer products, but I think B2B is also, there's a possibility. I think B2B is more difficult, but it's possible. So Cree Light Bulbs makes LED light bulbs, and so they have a B2C division, but their B2B division does, I think they like contract out, you know, they'll install everything you need, your lighting solutions for your business or whatever. So they had a thing where you could go onto the website and post pictures of your workplace with really crappy lighting. And it was, I think their campaign was Cries for Help. So you posted a picture of your, you know, your bad lighting on the website, and you also shared it on Facebook at the same time. Try again. All right. And it worked. So not only when people came to the website, just normal customers came to the website, they saw this campaign and saw what it was doing, and it was part of the product experience, but they also got shares to their external networks like Facebook of pictures, or of people submitting this project. And the winner got money to improve the lighting in their workplace. So kind of a cool, unique thing for B2B that, you know, you don't always think about light bulbs, what's unique about that, but there's something in your industry that will work, that you can integrate well with. So, like I said, I'm gonna have a lot of things to think about, but no real tips at the end of the day. I've got more questions without answers for you. So just more things to think about in closing here. How is your content supporting your product? How tightly are your communities tied to your product? Are the barriers to engage as low as possible? Does participating in your communities add value for your customers? And do you genuinely motivate your customers to participate? So that's it.